Perhaps you've been regularly attending church, trying to volunteer more, and maybe you've even dabbled in online dating, but no matter what you try, it's just been extremely difficult to get into a relationship. Here are 4 possible reasons that can explain why God might be allowing you to go through a situation like this. Number 1, God may be allowing it to be so hard to meet someone right now because He's saving you for the one and protecting you from needless heartbreak. Does it feel like God is hiding you from a relationship? Perhaps He is. While you might think that that would be cruel, if God really was hiding you from getting into a relationship, He would be doing that in kindness. Psalms 32:7, you are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance. So many people have looked at their past relationship mistakes and hurts and wished that they would have stayed hidden. God can hide you, but we also have free will. And so if we try hard enough and if we run from God hard enough, He will certainly let us reap what we sow. And He will let us experience the pain that He was trying to spare us of. Thus, one way to help manage the emotions that come with, not being in the relationship you want is to spend just as much time thanking God that you're not currently in a dysfunctional relationship. So it's not bad to think of the good you want, but also remember of the bad you don't have right now. Number 2, it could be very hard to meet someone right now because biblically, God doesn't just give us circumstances that are equal to our strength. Rather, He gives us the strength needed to deal with the circumstances. If we were to write our own stories, a lot of times those stories would be very boring and safe because we wouldn't willingly choose anything risky. But when God is writing our story, He has our good and His maximum glory in mind. Thus, instead of giving His people circumstances that they can handle in their own power, He gives us circumstances that will require us to need His power. Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Number 3, it could be very hard to meet someone right now because your lifestyle is not conducive to making a connection with someone from the opposite sex. Let me take this moment to just remind people of something I've said many times in the past. My videos are not meant to be used as prophetic statements that can just be applied randomly, like as though you just see this sign and, oh, God must be saying that because I just saw the statement on YouTube. Rather, my intention for these videos and these signs that I write and create are things that relate to the actual circumstances in your life. If these details don't relate to what's going on in your life, then I'm not saying God is, influencing your life in that way. They're not just blank prophetic statements. They need to actually apply to you. And so I'm saying that because this point doesn't apply to everyone. It's not a certain thing that if you don't have a relationship, that means you're not being social enough. That's way too general of a statement, and it's simply not true for many of you watching this. However, it is a variable. It is something that could be happening to many of you. For people to really make a connection, there needs to be something to connect over. There needs to be bridges that link you to these people. So trying to meet somebody is not actually a great way to meet somebody. Why is that? Because the desire to want to meet somebody isn't a bridge that usually works in forming a connection. You need a reason, a common interest, something that bonds you two together that is outside of just wanting to bond together. That's why instead of trying to meet somebody, quote unquote, it's more effective to live a lifestyle where you would naturally meet people as you're pursuing the passions and interests that God has placed on your heart. A good analogy here would be evangelizing and witnessing as a follower of Christ, trying to help people know the gospel. Yeah, you could just go out on the street and intentionally say, this is going to be a day where I go out and I evangelize on the street corner and I try to share the gospel with somebody. That's not wrong, but oftentimes it's more effective and it's more of the biblical pattern to literally be a light at all times wherever you are in your life. So rather than seeing evangelism and witnessing as this specific event that you go do, it's rather a lifestyle where God will open doors throughout your day and throughout the years of your life to share the gospel because you're a light. And I say that because this is very similar to making connections with people. Rather than seeing it as an event or a specific action of, I'm going to try to make a connection with somebody. Rather, this is something that works much better when it's a lifestyle. It's the pattern of your life as you are living for the glory of God. So if your lifestyle is not conducive to making natural connections with Christian singles from the opposite sex, then that could be a natural consequence and a reason for why it's very difficult for you to meet someone right now. And number 4, it could be very hard to meet someone right now because God's going to use this struggle to actually help you meet someone. Sometimes the problem you thought that was blocking you from the blessing actually becomes the path God uses to produce the blessing in your life. In other words, the issue of it being very difficult to meet someone may actually be the variable that God uses to help you meet somebody. So that could play out in countless ways, but a few examples could be that this eventually just gets so hard and frustrating that you're willing to do that thing that you said you would never do. Maybe it's online dating. Maybe it's just being more intentional. It's getting out of the limited social circle and putting yourself out there, even though that might be a challenge and a struggle for you. Or perhaps this long wait is producing in you patience and character and development that God knows you need before you can thrive in the relationship that He wants you in one day. Again, the possibilities are endless. The point here is that sometimes the problem becomes the path. God actually uses the issue to produce the thing that you feel like the issue is stopping you from. A thumbs up's a great blessing to this ministry because it helps this content spread to others who might need to see it. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com, and I'll see you at the next video. God bless.